All right, day 3 of my 8-week lean muscle building progression training cycle, whatever you want to call it. Got the whiteboard as usual, and I'm excited for today's session. It's like the classic, everything you want in a session. We're centering, I always center things around a primary strength superset. So today I've got max unbroken dumbbell bench presses at a specific weight. I'm going to use 70 pounds because I think that should allow me to get 15 plus reps, at least for my first set, but in that ballpark for the subsequent sets. So let's say, 14 to 18 on all sets, and then 15 dual dumbbell deadlifts with the same weight. That's a very doable weight. Won't require me to push too much, so I can actually keep something in the tank for the dumbbell bench press. Now, max effort, right? Max unbroken dumbbell bench. That's specific to the context. I think it's really important to clarify that because a lot of people probably approach anytime their program says, max effort something. You get a gazillion reps on set 1 and then you just have this power drop off. And depending on what you're training for, that can be okay. But again, my whole thing is I want 4 to 5 really solid sets. So if I get, 24 and then I drop to 16 and then 12 and then 8 and then 4, there isn't as much utility in my mind because I know there's not only going to be a power drop off, there's going to be this drop off in quality of repetition, quality of contraction, quality of tension. So I'd rather go, 16, 15 and then 14 across for the final 3 sets at a really high quality, great tension, great output. And I think that'll put me in a better place for lean muscle building. I can get a finisher. I won't be just completely ruined. I'll be able to recover for tomorrow's session, all that jazz. So important to recognize that note doesn't always mean, blow it out on the first set. You have to look at the context. I've got 5 sets. I'd like to get the full 5 sets here today of the strength work. And then I've got this finisher. I've got an EMOM finisher that has tall kneeling push presses, so more pressing. So I can't just absolutely blow out the shoulders and triceps and chest on the strength work. I've got this finisher as well. We've got these, wipers over a target, so ab-focused exercise. And then we've got some more bending contralateral dumbbell kickstand deadlifts. So if you're thinking, oh, but you're going to do dumbbells on the strength set and then this finisher, it's a different feel, different approach in that EMOM, lighter weight, a little more volume, just continuing to hammer hamstrings, glute, spinal erectors, but doing it with a little bit less weight, unilateral loading, and I think that's A-okay in my book, right? 75 deadlifts at a moderate weight in the strength set, nothing wild. You can tack on a little extra work there. And the prep work, chest flies, stretch the pecs, stretch the anterior delts, so that when I get to the actual pressing, I have a little extra, range of motion, a little cushion. Not only if it starts getting heavy and I'm dropping a little faster on my eccentric, but I can also now have an extra range of motion to get more tension through the, pecs, anterior delts. Side steps with a band, contralateral reach, reaching across my body. Then close grip bench presses. I don't often like to use, when it comes to pull-ups, I will often on pull-ups just hit some really relaxed singles so that I'm ready to go on the pull-ups. But with something like a press, there's so many variations that can get you prepared and that are pattern specific, right? I don't have a lat pull down machine. I was saying this, on my last session. The pull-up is a specific movement that there aren't a ton of, pulling patterns that are going to get you as well prepared for pull-ups or high volume or high effort pull-ups than just hitting some relaxed singles or getting some pull-ups done in your prep work. So in this case, because it's pressing, close grip bench press, so I'm getting this, big stretch position, then I'm going to work a close grip, get a little bit more triceps involved, and then I'm going to get some wall-assisted deadlifts, and 2 to 3 sets of that should have me in a great place to just jump right into the strength work. And yeah, it should be a good little session. I'll stop ranting and raving now. Something else to keep in mind that I will just, tack on here is, always thinking about my day before. So, you know, for example, my partner and I were, you know, watching The Sopranos. We're addicted. We pushed it a little bit too late last night. You're looking at a screen a little bit later than you want. Sleep wasn't perfect as a result. You know, I'm eating this, you know, bag of these chocolate candies. So it's not necessarily an excuse. I know some people can sometimes pop in and say, oh, well, that's just an excuse if you don't hit your targets or whatever. Not really. I'm going to set an expectation based on the fact that I'm probably not in an optimal place to go 120%. And I think that is important so that you don't create any tweaks, injuries, you know, acute fatigue that's, you know, too intense for you to recover from. That's really important. So still going to try to put in a good effort, but also hold myself accountable. If I feel like I get to, you know, 13 reps, I'm just more gassed than I wanted to be. You know, I wanted to get 18, I wanted to get 20. But 13 is feeling good. Stay there because I know, all right, well, in the future, I got to be really, I got to be smarter about my recovery and my sleep and making sure I'm, you know, eating something that isn't junk food close to bedtime, all those things. So important stuff. Now I will leave it there. Let's get into the fitness. All right, jumping into the prep work, starting off with these chest flies and looking for 10 solid reps. Going to be slow and methodical with these. Getting into my bench position, I like to pull my feet pretty far back, get a little stretch through the groin and adductors. But really getting that stretch, letting the hands pull out a little bit just to increase the stretch sensation, which also increases the tension through the pecs and the anterior delts, right? This is all about stretching out the pecs and the anterior deltoids. So if you're not feeling that stretch on the fly, I would say you need to drop a little bit lower, right? Really try to let those elbows sink, pulling the shoulder blades together, whatever you have to do to increase that stretch. That's 6, I believe. Pretty good. I'll probably leave it there with regard to the weight. No need to really push on that. That's really for range of motion and creating great tension. So through, again, pecs, anterior delts. So no need to push the weight. I'll probably keep it there. And I'll see you on the second piece of the prep work. Second part of this prep work circuit is banded sidecepts with a contralateral reach. So I'll start, you know, feet about shoulder width or hip width. Nice big step. I'm using a light band to kick things off, get myself feeling comfortable. Probably increase the resistance on the second and third sets. Activating the glutes, getting a bit of a bend in there. You know, making sure I'm ready to rock for those deadlifts with regard to positioning. I'm going for 16 here. That's 8. So the last one right here. There's some morning pickleballers outside. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's what's going on if you can. I'll see you on movement number 3. Third movement is the close grip dumbbell bench. I'm gonna go for 8 solid reps, using a little bit more weight than the chest flies. So, you know, another reason why I don't need to increase the weight on the chest flies. I'll probably keep it here as well, 40 pounds. That'll put me in a good place to hit some nice reps at 70, I think. Gonna pause at the chest on each one of these, not a ton of time. Might spend a little bit more time on the chest in subsequent sets, but for right now, just keeping things pretty simple on the first set. I always like to say, you know, the first set is kind of for phoning it in, so to speak. You know, just turn things on. Don't go wild on pushing your end ranges yet. Just get some blood flow going, get some easy movement going. Set 2, set 3, we'll pick things up a little bit, and then we'll be, you know, really geared up for the strength work. The fourth and final exercise on this, you know, prep work circuit is going to be wall-assisted single leg deadlifts. If you've never done these, great tension through the lead leg, hamstring, and glute. You know, get unilaterally loaded before you get into bilateral work. I like that as a rule of thumb. And that's exactly what we're doing right here. I'm starting with body weight. I'll probably go up to a light dumbbell. We're getting 12 reps, but it's a super potent variation, bending variation. So here's 7. I'm already feeling great tension through my glutes. I know by set 3, I'll be in a great spot. Now I'm using the radiator to show you where my leg is, but it's not the best place. Probably use the wall on my last 2 sets, but I did want you to see where my foot was in relation to the lead leg. I'll keep it there. You don't need to see set 2, but I'll plug you in for set 3. I think it's helpful to see how much we pick things up as we go from set to set. So I will see you on set number 3 of the prep work. Set 3 of the prep work. Getting going with the chest flies again, and you'll see, you know, I'm in a better place with regard to range of motion. I can spread the arms a little bit more, just a little bit more wiggle room with regard to the anterior delts and the pecs. I know I keep hammering that, but it's really, really important. I think chest flies are such a great tool inside of prep work. I think why not focus on activating those muscles on the front end of your session and then get into the bigger weights, have a deeper impact on your strength and the tension you can create, and ultimately helping you build more lean muscle. There's only so much weight you can use in this position. So use it to activate all these primary movers, and they'll be working overtime, so to speak, when you get into your heavier pressing. But feeling good on these. Lost count because I'm talking, but I'm going to call that 10, even if it's 8 or 9, and moving right along. Banded side steps with the contralateral reach. I'm using a green band now, so a lot more resistance. Step isn't going to be as big. This is also what I did on the second set, right? I'm in my 3rd set now. But control feels better, feeling a little more confident with this resistance. And now my glutes are really getting fired up because I'm able to add this resistance. So important to also note that you should always be building in your prep work. You know I say you can kind of half-ass it on your first set, but that's all you get with regard to phoning it in. You gotta ultimately take these reps seriously. You've got to build so that you can then milk, you know, your strength work for everything that it's worth. Last 2 reps coming up. Yeah. Glutes will be well activated for my deadlifting. All right, getting into the close grip bench. I'm using the 70s for this just so I can touch that weight. This is the exact weight I'm going to be using on every single set of the strength work. So want to have it in my hands, want to control it a little bit. Different pressing variation, but obviously helpful nonetheless. That was the bench. That was the bench, not me farting. So I'm sticking with 6 reps there. Again, just want to touch the weight. I was going with 8 on all of my sets, and my first 2 sets were with 40 pounds. But I always give myself a range, so I try to usually go with the upper end of the range. But if I increase the weight significantly, there's no reason to hold myself to that standard. 6 reps, that felt really good, good control. And now I know what it's like to have these things in my hands, so I can be ready to rock. You know, because the strength set, or the strength superset is coming up in, just a few minutes. So I'm adding a weight to the wall-assisted single leg deadlift. And as a result, I'm gonna drop the reps. So body weight, I was going with 12. Now that I got weight in my hand, I'm gonna get 10 nice reps. And super potent, again, really potent variation. So there's no real reason to push the weight on these. Again, just looking for great activation in the hamstrings and glutes, and a bit of like almost what I would think of as like protective measures on the spinal erectors. You don't want to be going cold. I feel really confident with deadlifting 70s in each hand, but you just wouldn't want to go into that cold. So it might seem like, well, that's a huge jump to go from 20s to the 70s. Well, again, like I said, for me, this is a more potent activator. Creates really, really crazy tension in the hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. You can use this inside of strength work, and you would never go that heavy. So I do think that it actually gets me really well prepared, even though the weight might look extremely different. Okay, set 1 of the strength superset right here. I know I came out with the game plan of like 14 to 18 reps, maybe even 15 to 20 on the dumbbell bench, but I don't know if that's going to be sustainable for 5 sets, so I might be adjusting in the middle of my set. 12 right now sounds pretty good just based on how I'm feeling. Such an important part of the prep work is to gauge like where am I at physically. I think I had some decent recovery the other day, but like I said, maybe not the best sleep, maybe not the best nourishing of my body with regard to food and everything and intake. So yeah, that's that. For me, range of motion on the press, especially when you're going for max, something high effort. I'm just going to try to touch my pecs, side of the pec, and then I'm up. But if I stop here, for me that's not a full range rep. You want to give yourself a standard so that you can hold it throughout your workout. And if you can't hold it, you're able to recognize, ooh, I've gone too far, this isn't sustainable, all that jazz. So again, 12 would be nice, 15 would be nicer, and you'll see I might use the hips to pop up a little bit. I'm not entering a powerlifting competition. I'm not trying to do anything inside of the sport of bench pressing, so using the hips a little bit is just going to allow me to get more eccentrics. I don't care if I get an assist on a concentric phase. I'm trying to maximize my time under tension, so with that, let's stop procrastinating. All right, so that does not count as a rep, just to clarify. All right, there's 12. Do I know myself or do I know myself? Yeah, it feels good for today. I think, like I said, there's other days where I might have more in the tank, but if I can go 10 to 12 across, I'll feel good based on how that first set went. All right, I'll see you on the deadlift, set one of the deadlifts. So just had a 90-second rest. Now I'm gonna get 15 dumbbell deadlifts. These are not supposed to be life ruiners, right? I'm definitely much weaker on the press than I am on deadlifting. You know, these small muscle groups are definitely much weaker or just less capable in comparison to the legs, and I'm using the same weight. So 15 reps, still nothing to scoff at. It's still meaningful strength work. I'll still show good control and everything, but I want to get great recovery even though I'm still working within the time that I have between all the bench press reps, right? I want to really replicate those 12 reps. Again, 10 to 12 will be fine, but I'd love to stay consistent with that, so I don't want to ruin myself on the leg work when we superset, you know, pressing and bending. So with that, let's get 15 quality reps, and we'll take those 90 seconds to get recovered. Notice I'm just tapping the front dumbbell head, and then I'm up. Cool. There's 15 solid reps. That's it, 90 seconds. I'll see you on the bench press. Set 2, feeling all right after the rest period between the deadlifts and the presses. But I have a feeling that these reps, all of the bench press reps, will be a bit of a gut check. So again, 10 to 12 quality reps is what I'm shooting for. Let's see what I can get. Terrible lift right there. That doesn't count again. I don't know where my head was at with the talking, but here we go now. I'll keep it there with 11. Man, that lift up was so whack. I don't know what happened to my coordination, but got a little extra tax doing that. So I'll take 11. Nothing wrong with that. I think I still might be able to get 12 on the next sets, but we'll see. 15 dumbbell deadlifts here again. And yeah, I'll try to knock these out. Keep the high quality. Get prepped for those presses. Cool, done and dusted, but gotta get prepped for those presses. I will see you on set 3. There are sometimes those workouts where the allotted rest period stops being enough. This feels like this is gonna be one of those workouts. I'm gonna try my best to get 10 to 12 reps again. We will see. All right.
All right, 10 it is. I don't hate that. Obviously didn't set the best expectations for the session, but I'll definitely take that and factor it into all my subsequent workouts. Still week one, so lots of work to be done, and again, gauging out where I'm at physically, and yeah, looking forward to the deadlifts though. Again, 15 deadlifts. Let's bang these out. Alrighty, 90 seconds, then we're back to the bench. Okay, set 4, home stretch. My lift ups to the actual starting position have been trash on these sets, so let me dial that in. Try my best to get 10. It's okay if I get 9 or 8, but I'm gonna try my best. There we go. The former big time fitness guy wants to push on those, but the smart aging man wants to leave it at 8. So definitely going back to the drawing board as far as my capacity is concerned. I think a little bit of that is just, some cumulative fatigue from prior in the week, figuring things out in week 1. And, it's been a little while since I've done some moderate benching. So again, not trying to create excuses, more really trying to figure out where do I sit on the spectrum of fitness so I can really dial things in on all the subsequent training sessions. So I guess the new goal is trying to just get 7 to 8 on that last set, but first we got to get through set 4 of those dumbbell deadlifts. Set 4, let's keep them high quality, 15 reps. Here we go. Cool. Last set of the bench press coming up. 90 seconds. I'll see you there. Final set of dumbbell bench pressing. We already know the power drop off has been real, so 5 is almost where I'm starting to feel pretty effortful. So 7 to 8 reps here would be nice, and talk a little bit about how I could have adjusted things to, I think, optimize this session. But for now, let's get 7 to 8 reps. All right, leaving it at 7. Just keep myself in a good place. Got the finisher and everything. think realistically, looking back on how this all went, I think 60 pounds instead of 70 would have been the right way to go. Again, it's been a while. Sometimes we reflect on old numbers. Earlier in the week, the lizard push-ups felt really good. So, you go based on feel. I don't think that was a bad session or anything, but I wanted more volume. Double-digit reps on every set was certainly what I expected. So to drop down to 7, not exactly what I wanted out of the strength set, but again, gives you great insight into the remainder of the training cycle. So the reason I'm pulling back, could I snuck in an 8? Maybe if I'm launching my hips up off the bench, could I get 9? Maybe even 10 and fight like crazy on every rep? Maybe, but I've got 8 weeks in front of me. I've got the rest of the year in front of me. I've got a lifetime in front of me. So knowing when to push, put your foot on the gas, pull back a little bit is really important. So, whether or not the session went exactly how I wanted it to, really good learning experience, so to speak. So with that, one more set of the deadlifts, and then I'll move on to the finisher, be done for the day. Last set of dumbbell deadlifts, 15, banging them out, move on to the finisher, be done. All right, awesome superset. 90 seconds of rest is helpful, but you're still getting this great dose. You're getting that perfect amount of fatigue over the course of 5 sets. And I feel like I've said this on all the workouts. I never know if the lighting is decent or what, but I get a good little pump by the time the superset is done. And in my mind, that's kind of like the brunt of the work. You could call it after this, but there's a little something more we could do. So that's why we have these finishers, lighter weight. Heart rate's obviously up, but I can kind of flirt with that blend of resistance, aerobic still in these finishers. So that's what it's all about. I'm gonna go pretty light on every movement in there. And nice little EMOM to close things out. But I don't know, I'm also very fair skinned, so there's not a ton of definition across the muscle groups, but feeling pretty good. Really solid day 3. And I got this EMOM finisher coming up in just a second, and I'll see you all there. All right, we've got this finisher here. It's an EMOM. I always give myself a range, so 16 to 24 minutes. It's 4 exercises, so 4 minutes per set. So trying to get 4 to 6 sets. And really the finishers, to continue to give clarity and insight, they're all about getting as much as we can out of our primary muscle groups, out of the muscle groups we're trying to hit on each session. So this was all about pushing and bending, and that's what we're going to do right here, is get a little bit more out of them. We're not going to push the weight, going for a lower weight, some really good volume, moving through things with a little less rest, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to set this countdown, and starting with alternating dumbbell tall kneeling push presses. I'm going to go with 30 pounds. I feel really confident with that. Notice I'm using the hips, right? I'm sitting back on my heels. Contractions are a little bit shorter. Going for 10 to 12. There's 11. Are they like the cleanest reps ever? Maybe not, but I feel decent with them. I can take a brief moment to transition. they're not going to ruin me. I know I can come back to those and maintain some decent quality. And now I'm going to get these wipers over a target. Each one of these counts as an individual rep. Man, my body's a little gassed. You can see I'm already leaning back. You know, more potent if you can lean forward, but yeah, I'm a little fried. Legs might even have some fatigue from Tuesday's session with the kickstand squats. I think that was 14. Give myself 12 to 16 on those. Feeling decent there. And I'll probably just take you through one set of this, and maybe I'll catch up at the very end, or I'll show you at the end where I'm at. Let you know if I went with 4, 5, or 6. 10 seconds left. Now I'm going kickstand deadlifts. I recognize I just did deadlifting, but I feel really confident in my deadlift capacity. So I can go here, and now it's lighter, unilaterally loading, only using 40 pounds. And I'm sure people will notice, you know, my deadlifting now, especially with the weight that I'm using, I'm a little more upright, right? I'm not bending as much through the knees. I feel really confident with my bending capacity. You know, back in the day, my lifetime 1 rep max on deadlifting is 525 pounds. So again, I feel really good about that. I feel really confident in my posterior chain strength. And I find that this just lets me load up these huge muscle groups a little bit more. And as a result, I can be really efficient with lean muscle building. Okay, so there's round 1. Again, feeling good. You know, I can maintain this, or hopefully you can tell I can maintain this pretty well throughout. Yeah, I'll take you through that. I'll show you where I'm at the end of, you know, right now I'm feeling like just 4 rounds. Again, week 1, why push it, why go nuts? But maybe I'll sneak in a 5th round. But I will see you when I'm done with this finisher right here. All right, day 3 is done with. I did end up going with 4 rounds, so 16 minutes, 16-minute EMOM on that finishing piece. Again, we already know I kind of miscalculated on that strength superset, you know, part B of the workout. So just not trying to overdo things, push too hard. You know, again, do I think I have a 5th or 6th set in me? Yeah, maybe, but you know, pretty good sweat going on. Like I said, I don't know nothing about the lighting or anything, but muscles are feeling pretty solid. Like I said, also I'm, you know, fair skin, so I never know if those things are showing up. But as far as getting to, you know, 3rd day of the 1st week, I'm feeling really solid. I think this 8 weeks will be really nice. This is keeping me accountable. And yeah, I will see anyone and everyone who wants to check things out for day 4, the end of week 1. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making more and more progress. All right, I'll see you out there.